Hello there, my fellow Cybertronians. This is the Mega Ginger, the Ginger Transformer podcast. Today we wrap up the Marvel Collected Comics, the Marvel UK Collected Comics, sorry, with the last one that well, not the last one they brought out, but the last one at the time before they decided to bring anything else out. Basically, it's the last one chronologically, okay? Time Wars. This is a biggie. This is basically a lot of comics led up to this. Target 2006, Legacy of Unicron, Space Pirates. A lot of them basically just led up to this. It's a biggie. To me, it's one of my favourites of all the Marvel UK Transformer comics because there's very little rap introduced, like Cup Story or Firebug or one where they're all fighting each other in the bucking snow. This is a culmination of so many comics work. This is it. This is like in Time Wars is one big comic. They do have a couple of comics beforehand, but it leads directly in. It's not filler. It's nothing like that. Okay. And this one will probably take a bit more time, simply for the fact that there's a lot of ground to cover. Plus, I'll be going over the Fall and Rise of the Decepticon Empire's TF annual as well, which is the only one that's really set after this that has any colour in the comic whatsoever. After this, that was it. Then there was no more colour in the UK Transformer Marvel comics, which probably, I'm not going to lie, was the main reason for the decline. Because I mean, they still had some good stories. I've read some of the stories, but it wasn't up to scratch. Not compared to this, anyway. Time Wars is Time Wars. So without much further ado, let's get into it. So Time Wars consists of Worlds Apart, numbers 130 and 131. Dry Run is 189. Author Damage is the 1989 Transformers Annual. All in the Mines is also an annual. And then we get into it proper with Time Wars, issues 199 to 205. So, without much further ado, I'll go through some of the points of interest for the actual comics. Worlds Apart, we get an introduction to the Headmasters and Target Masters, who are also kind of pivotal in Time Wars. So, guess what? That's why something from like 70 issues beforehand was put in. And Dry Run is the deaths of Cyclonus and his target master Nightstick. Is a massive point of interest there. We'll get to it, you'll find out why. Author Image, it's Megatron versus Galvatron, and it's well before it happens in the US comics, because obviously it does happen in the US comics as well. So, All in the Mines, it's a one shot, and it ties in only really to Time Wars because Highbrow removes Scorponok's head and then he's kind of carrying it about in Time Wars. Big Grim actually says here, Time Wars, points of interest, deep breath. First time we see Spike and Daniel in the future, like they are in the TV show, not in proper comic form. It's like from TV show. It's the first look at the UK Mayhem Attack Squad. It's a different roster to what we're all used to, like Bludgeon and his crew, introduces Carnivac, Catilla, Venom, Chop Shop, among others. And at this point, it should be said that the kill list is quite big. So I'm not going to read off the kill list, but it is quite big. I'll say that for the actual review. Galvatron, Scourge, Cyclonus, they all go back to the future. And in the biggest shock of a Transformer comic, more probably at the time in that day, the age, was that Shockwave saves the frigging day. I know, right? So anyway, on to Worlds Apart. Basically, we get introduced to the Headmasters and the Target Masters all fighting each other on Nebulos. The Headmasters are going to save their Target Master counterparts. So we've got Highbrow, Chrome Dome, Hardhead, and Brainstorm going to save the others. And they come under attack by the Decepticon Headmasters, Mind the Wipe, Weird Wolf, Eight Face, Snapdragon, Skullcruncher, right? Because they call them something different in some of the lore. So I don't remember what the original name was. And they're all fighting each other. Eventually, the Autobot headmasters defeat them, in fact, go to Scorponok's fortress where he is just happens to not be there, and come across the target masters, Point Blank, Crosshairs, and Sure Shot, who tell them, get the hell out, this is a trap, they don't want us, we're the bait, they want you. Then Scorponok appears with the Decepticon target masters, the Decepticon headmasters who were defeated earlier, and said, yeah, leave one alive, kill the rest. So he basically grabs Highbrow, and off he goes. Right, off he toddles in his scorpion mode, Yeah, so a big firefight ensues. The Autobot headmasters release the target masters. Now there's a big fight between them all. This is also when you see Cyclonus and Scourge and wonder at this point, are they doing there? Aren't they leaders in the future? Well, that kind of solves itself, if I'm completely honest, in Legacy Unicron. So anyway, he toddles off and he transforms, and he's not massive, he's not a Titan size. Fortress Maximus and Scorponok in the comics are not Titan size like they are in the Generation 1 cartoon series. So he toddles off and he's sitting going, right, the headmaster process is kind of buggering us up. How did you do it? And Highbrow's like, I don't know, I don't like this guy. And he transforms off and he goes, I don't like you either. And so, they argue with each other. And that's when Scorponok gets the revelation. It's like, yes, so it's not to do with the process. The process is sound. It's to do with the selection process between Headmaster and Cybertronian. Hell. Now, Chrome Dome at this point turns up and starts shooting and starts reminding Highbrow and Gort that they actually do have stuff in common. And, that should unite them, that should bond them. And just as it looks at Scorponok's about to lay the death blow onto Chrome Dome, it gets through to them. They're able to work together again. And they both fight off Scorponok. He's like, retreat. The Decepticon war cry. Hell, Fortress Maximus wasn't even going to do any stuff at this point, and they still won. And Highbrow's relationship with his headmaster partner is now better. The target masters have been freed. All in a day's work. Off we go to Dry Run. Now, this is quite a bit ahead. It's 189, and it has nothing to do with the headmasters. Basically, we have Megatron, who was rescued by Shockwave previously and reprogrammed kinda into hating Galvatron, So yeah, you see him kick the hell out of and eventually destroy a facsimile decoy of Galvatron in expert time. He's like, I wish I had something better to test this on because, at the end of the day, a construct was never going to hold up against Galvatron or Megatron. And, it's just, he needed real test subjects. Cue Cyclonus and Scourge. They come back and then he's like, right, well, your meeting with Galvatron didn't go well, obviously. So now you two work for me in this time. I'm brilliant, blah, blah, blah. And Cyclonus looted it. He's like, why the hell should we work for someone that we're going to kill in 20 years, blah, blah. He didn't. None of them killed. Death's Head killed him. But that's a moot point, right? And Scourge is like, do you realize what you've just said, you idiot? And, Shockwave fires at them, they fire back, but they've got target master power, so they outclass Shockwave. Perfect opportunity, isn't it? Cyclonus and Scourge around the corner, like, right, where is he? Who's that in the shadows? And this just massive beam of energy hits Cyclonus. He's like, damn it, I'm down, help. It's like, Scourge goes in to get whoever this is, and it reveals itself. It's Megatron. The both of them are sitting going, but they still got to fight or they're going to die, So, yeah, Scourge gets handily taken care of. Megatron gets a hold of Cyclonus, lifts him up, and he's like, you think you're this and you're that, and you know what, you're nothing to me. Crushes Nightstick, and hence ended Nightstick. And a wee side note here, the fact that Cyclonus goes, Nightstick, no, showed that he actually cared about his target master partner, which is weird because Decepticons don't give a shit about no one. But maybe he's just thinking at this point, back to point, Megatron's at holding him was about tearing it into pieces. So he's like, Scourge, where are you? Please help me. And Scourge, he's not dead. He's still got fracas. He aims up and he's like, right, I've got a good shot. I'm going to take it. And then he freezes. If he kills Megatron, will this mean he will not be created along with Cyclonus to scare Galvatron in the future? In hesitation, and eventually just leaves. He's like, I can't risk it. I can't risk my future. So he leaves, and Cyclonus is very handily decapitated, brutally murdered 20 years before he's born. Created out of other Decepticon remains to serve Galvatron. Shockwave's happy with that little test and says, right, off you go get Galvatron. You can take his minions, you can take him. Now, he dies, it accelerates the end of everything because he has now died 20 years before he's born. It's screwed with time, space, reality. It's fucked it. that Shockwave can't know this. Megatron doesn't know this. Might have still done it anyway if he knew. He's Megatron. And off he goes to hunt Galvatron. Altered image. The fight between Galvatron and Megatron. Now, Galvatron has raised a human town just to level the fucker. Terrorize people just to get Megatron's attention. Megatron turns up and the two ensue in a battle. Megatron in complete denial. You're not me. Tell me what you said isn't true. And goes for him. And Galvatron's like, yeah, it is me. We should team up. Blah, 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 blah. And Galvatron basically gets what he got from Megatron into Target 2006. Boom, particle blast. And so down he goes. There's a fusion blast. I know one of them's got one of them's got the other. They're the same person. And that's it. Fight ensues. They start knocking lumps out of each other. And Galvatron brings a building down on Megatron to try to contain him because he can't kill him. It would be like committing suicide. He is him in the future. So if he kills him, he won't be born. So he tries to contain him and he just says, listen, you know what? Sod you then. I don't need you. I'm out. And he mentions what he does to Starscream in the future. And he's like, if it was to come, Starscream humiliates you by throwing you out of Astro Train. I avenge that by, you know what? What's the point? You don't want to hear it. That gets Megatron's attention. Wait, what did you do to Starscream? And Galvatron just says, what the hell would you have done? Megatron starts laughing uncontrollably because he knows exactly what he'd have done. And that's it. He's like, you might not be me, Galvatron, but I like your thinking. Maybe we should team up. And they wander off. Oh dear. Now, All in the Mines, that's the next annual. It's to do with the headmasters, but not all of them. Highbrow is being hunted by Scorponok and all these people because, quite frankly, Scorponok wants a sleeper agent. He gets a hold of him, gets mind wiped, hypnotise him. Highbrow wakes up all dazed and confused. Like, you're part of the peaceful Decepticon army. You were attacked by the evil Autobots. You know what? We're just going to rest up here. We're going to see if we can get your memory back and blah blah blah. And he's like, sure, right. Why does this feel wrong? But I don't have anything else to go with. He's been hypnotized. He can't remember shit. And apparently he's just in a battle with evil Autobots. And Mindwipe suggests, listen, he's still uncomfortable. Maybe if we all go into our headmaster modes, Zarek, Vorath, and Gort, maybe that'll put him more at ease. And so Scorponok's like, good idea, good suggestion. And they transform down into the smaller modes. And Highbrow goes, okay. And Gort detaches and comes down. Gort knocks Vorath out. Highbrow was mesmerized. He wasn't. He was a captive, basically, because he couldn't do anything until he was freed there. So he knocks out Vorath, so he can't get hypnotized again. Unfortunately, Zarek recombines with Scorponok, and it's like, you can either rejoin Highbrow or I stomp on you now. So he does. He rejoins up. But that's given him enough freedom to take control of Highbrow. So he's like, oh, yeah, you got something on your head there, comrade. Comrade Scorponok, hold of it, and pulls his head off. Now, headmasters can detach, but it requires mental commands via head and body, to prepare the detachment. He just ripped his head off. That was it. Scorponok and Zarek are both like, just gone. And seriously, that was only in there to explain away the fact that he was walking up with Scorponok's head in Time Wars. That's just screwed up, On to Time Wars. This is good, and it does jump a little bit between present and future. Not much future, but enough, because you basically see it starts in the future. Earth is starting to come apart. Time and space reality, everyone's starting to just crumble. And the Terracons are loving this because people are saying it's the end of days and they're calling us demons from the pits of Hades. I like that. Let's do that. And they start wrecking up shit, right? And Soundwave's like, whoa, focus. We're here to drain energy, not to wreck shit, At the same time, Cup has rescued Spike and Daniel. And he's like, where's Prime? I want words. And he's told, yeah, he's dealing with the time travel technology stuff. He's like, I don't give a shit. He's like, Prime. He basically tears Rodimus Prime a new one. And so does Spike. And Daniel, he's a kid, so he doesn't tear him an asshole, but he guilt trips him, And Rodimus is like, listen, I know everything's bad, but the focal point is not here. It's 20 years in the past. We need to tinker with this shit to go back to sort it so it'll save the world. And this kind of mollifies Cup. Pacifies him, does not pacify Spike. He's like, I don't give a toss 20 years ago. Earth's dying now. You took a vow. He took no such vow. Optimus Prime took the vow to protect Earth. He didn't. He inherited that. But that's beside the point. He's like, why are you letting Earth die? Blah, blah, blah. I think it's Daniel saying, please, please, you've got to help us, like, crying kid. And I think that makes him go, shit. Because even in the TV series, Rodimus Prime and Daniel do seem to have a special relationship, Because basically, this kid has actually been born and growing up with Transformers since he was born. So he eventually sends a strike force to stop the Decepticons activating this drill that will end the Earth, will destroy it all and collect all the energy. So they destroy the drill. They don't even aim at the Decepticons. They blow that up, and the cop's like, "Yeah, he's risking 2 worlds for this shit. Move, tail. We gotta go." So they go back, and the Decepticons, they're like, nah, we want revenge. We want to kill them, blah, blah, blah. And Soundwave's like, well, the reasonable option here is to just rebuild it. The Autobots are gone. Just rebuild the drill and, sorted. But then he realized other Decepticon leaders, they have their asses handed to them for less. So he's like, yeah, sure, let's go hunting. So they turn up at Autobot City. There's no one there. And little bits throughout the main comic, you see the Autobots getting ready to go through the gate and like wee bits, and it's basically at the end the Decepticons turn up and go, let's go hunting because there's no one here. Where have they gone in the past? Let's go get them. In the present, Optimus Prime's addressing his troops about everything that seems to be happening all over time in space and all over the Earth. Everyone's going to hell. So they're going to need to take on Galvatron, stop him and force him back to his own time by any means necessary. Still unaware that it's Cyclonus' death and the fact that Cyclonus and Scourge are there that's fucking everyone up. They bypassed the normal way of doing it. Galvatron didn't. Skids is still in limbo. Poor guy. Then the Decepticons turn off and they're like, hi bro, you'll be the head of our leader, blah, blah, blah. And a big, massive fight ensues. The Decepticons get the head and they go. But then Optimus Prime and certain other Autobots are mass displaced. That's what happens when you time travel. Rodimus and his people show up, and Optimus and his people disappear to make way for them. This starts a ram because Fortress Maximus goes, they killed Optimus, kill them all. Not even a chance to explain. So it's a massive Autobot versus Autobot battle in which Goldbug is gravely wounded. Goldbug is from the present at this point, he's not future Goldbug. And it's Ultra Magnus that brings him back and says, listen, this is the shit that happens if we fight each other. And Maximus is like distraught and Rodimus is distraught, and the Decepticons, including Scorponok, are just sitting laughing until about 6 of their people disappear as well because Soundwave and the others have time jumped. And Rodimus is like, I'm a failure as a leader, blah, blah, blah. If only Optimus was here. Wait. Through the Matrix, he's able to make Optimus appear in Limbo, who is immune to the effects of Limbo because he's been there previous. So he's awake, he can see everyone, he's not captured in one of these dream states. He addresses the troops, he addresses all the Autobots, and he addresses the Decepticons because it's like, listen, this is crunch time for all of us. We don't do something now, we all die. Expedition over to the Wreckers. The Wrecker ship lands broadside, Sandstorm and Inferno are waiting for them, but they do have to notice that the Wreckers have turned up on a Decepticon ship led by Carnivac and the Mayhems, who are also saying, listen, you're going after Galvatron. There's, we have to team up here. If we don't team up, we can't take them. Turns out, even when they turn up, they can't take them anyway. Because at this point, Scourge has found the base, so he's joined up with Galvatron. Sorry, Galvatron and Megatron. And Ravage found his way. Ravage has been missing since like the very early comics. He's found his way into the base and saw not one but 2 Megatrons. That's, the sentence told him there's 2 Megatrons, but obviously one's Galvatron. So there's more forces in the Wreckers and the Mayhems anticipate, even though the Scourge and Ravage don't really do much because Megatron and Galvatron are enough for them. So they both start laying into the Wreckers and the Mayhems, who both have to retreat and get the hell out of Dodge into open space or they're going to die horribly. At this point, the other Autobots and the Decepticons are discussing what they need to do. And I think it was Scorponok who hits it on the head and says, listen, we'll take the strongest of us and we'll go and whoop them. Why didn't they think of that 100 issues ago? I'll never know. But yeah, they basically end up going, that's the best plan. We'll need a bit of a plan to go with it, but that's pretty much the idea. The Wreckers and Mayhems have preempted us, so we're kind of hoping that they're not completely wiped from the map at this point. Cue the kill list. Between Megatron and Galvatron, kills off Battletrap, Venom, Chop Shop, Topspin, Sandstorm, Roadbuster, Rack and Ruin, Twin Twist. Jesus Christ. That's pretty much all the Mayhems and all the Wreckers. So they're down, they draw blood. They use some sort of path blaster and blow off half of Galvatron's face. They were aiming for Megatron. Galvatron got in the way. So, but that led to the death of Roadbuster when it exploded. But yeah, at this point, lots of them were down and out and just dead, just gone. So at this point, the others start attacking Rodimus and Ultra Magnus, Fortress Maximus, Grimlock and the Dinobots, Scorponok and the others, and Soundwave, the Terracons, the others lay in and lay in. And they all start getting whooped left, right, and centre as well. And Optimus and Limbo is watching this going, shit, if I jump in, it's going to make things worse. I can only hope things get better. Here, a wee side note, we see Scourge, who has left the fight because Springer was saying to him beforehand, he's, listen, I don't know what Galvatron's promised you, but you're not going to live to get it. Everything ends. And Scourge figures out that, yeah, this is because I'm here and because Cyclonus is here. He's went to Castle Shockwave to get Cyclonus' remains. But Shockwave, having went completely nutter, has torn Cyclonus into even smaller pieces and put him up as like a big display case kind of thing, you know? It's like, look at my kill. So after that, so Scourge, he's like, right, I need to take this. Can I save the world kind of thing? 2 words, no, mine, and Shockwave shoots him down. You know, at this point, Fracus has seemed to have disappeared somewhere. And it's Ravage that has to talk to Shockwave and just say to him, listen, here's a string of logic. Come back to us, please, you know? And at the end of it is basically, it works. He dangles the apple of logic in front of him and plucks Shockwave from the abyss, the pit of madness, where he's like, listen, if I do this, I die in 20 years. And Ravage is like, listen, you get 20 years, and someone as smart as you'll be able to figure out how you fucking dodge that. That sells him. Anyway, the battle goes really bad. Galvatron's becoming more unhinged. He's starting to remember things the way they were, you know, when he was Megatron and Galvatron was fighting with him. So it's kind of screwing with his perception of things. It's starting to drive him mad. Rodimus Prime takes that advantage and tries to kill him dead. Fails. So obviously, using the Matrix as a stepping stone, Prime jumps into the fray. And yes, it does make everything worse. It basically hastens the end of everything. So now you've got Optimus and Galvatron laying into each other. And eventually, all the fighting comes to naught because of some sort of massive time-space rip cyclone thing appears from nowhere. And that's it. That's the end of everything is happening. That's it. Everyone's going to die. And Galvatron just stands in front of you, goes, I am Galvatron, screw you, and gets torn apart and like whisked back into the future. And Scourge, he turns up and he's like, right, I need to go in because if I don't, this won't stop. So take me. And he jumps into this thing and just tore apart Galvatron. And now Rodimus and Optimus are both holding on for dear life, going, why isn't it stopping? Why the hell is this not stopping? Shockwave, of all people, turns up with the remains of Cyclonus, starts shooting in his gun mode at the vortex to keep himself at a good distance while releasing the remains of Cyclonus into. Boom! Blue skies, vortex is gone, everything's fixed again, everything's good. And Optimus is like, listen, I can never repay you for what you've done here. No one can. You saved the world. The next time we meet, we'll be enemies. And Shockwave's like, yeah. Only logical. There's a wee kind of kick to it. Basically, Rodimus and that are told, yeah, soon you get back to the future. See your time machines? Destroy them all, please. And Rodimus is like, yep, no problem. Shakes Optimus's hand, and off he goes back to the future. A future which has, like I said, I've read the black and white comics, a future which has been, unfortunately, been altered irrevocably. Because of this, all these events, it looks like Galvatron, Cyclonus, and Scourge never travelled to the past. So it's a whole new timeline. But that is a story, unfortunately, you will never hear because that is the end of the collected comic stuff. I will, however, go through the Fall and Rise of the Decepticon Empire and the question of Megatron. In the Fall and Rise of the Decepticon Empire, we see Megatron and Ravage return to Cybertron after the events of Time Wars. They realise that the Decepticons are growing fat and complacent and Autobots are just kind of wandering about openly. That won't do it. No. So basically, we get introduced to the UK characters Legionus, Octus, and Caesar, the Triumvirate, the Decepticon leaders at this point on Cybertron. And Megatron doesn't even need to kill him himself. He restrains from being what he was and goes for what he can be, you know? So he's cold, he's calculated, he's methodical. He talks the Decepticons around him into realising what's happened to them, what's become of them, and that these 3 bastards are pretty much the ones who are the reason for the Decepticons going soft on Cybertron. Ruckus, Crankcase, and Windsweeper, first time we've seen in UK comics, and I think the only time we've seen them in colour, decide, the hell with it, he's right, and plus it is Megatron, and blow them all away from behind. So they are now his trusted confidants. Megatron now sits on the throne in this Decepticon capital, sitting going, yeah, well, this is going to be a good day. this is the first day on the path to me becoming Galvatron, you know? End of comic. Here we go. I promise you this. How was Megatron present when he was in Cybertron's dead end, but found in the comic 160 in the Thames? Now, I've brought this up. Easy, there were two Megatrons. The real one appears in the Transformers UK comic 243, Mind Games 244, two Megatrons. One was created by Straxus himself. It was a real Cybertronian he used, and he converted him to look like Megatron. Straxus' mind was put in along with Megatron's to fool him. Now, this little puppet cut at strings, got loose and thought it was a real boy for a while. Got caught in a fight with the Centurion, got taken back by Shockwave, got taken over by Galvatron, and then went back to Cybertron and claimed everything as his. Our Megatron, the one that reappears in the US comics, finds out about this and promptly, fights him for leadership of the Decepticons. The fake one realizes he's a fake. He realizes that he's fighting the real Megatron, that he was just something used by Straxus. And what is Megatron, if nothing else? He is never fucking used. So in one last act of defiance against the master that created this fake Megatron, he puts his own fusion cannon up towards him, he blows his own head off. And that's when Megatron sits down with the body and says, "This one demands respect, but now I'm back, and things is real." So yeah, there was two Megatrons. But it solved itself quite nicely out with the US comics, so there's no sort of kind of crossover, there's no sort of paradox kind of shit. I mean, Galvatron is dead, and that Megatron is dead, so when they meet up originally near the end of the US run, these are the originals meeting each other for the first time. They've not met before. So you go, little explanation into that one, and a little bit of proof that yes, I have read the black and white comics. So yeah, that is the end of the Marvel collected comic rundown. Hope you've enjoyed them, and we'll see what I end up yammering about next time. It'll be as big a surprise as me as it will be to you. So on that, my fellow Cybertronians, roll out, stay safe. See you next time.